Hey Reddit. What's an American problem you're too European to understand? Subscribe to support the channel. And share America in the comments. Australian here. Don't understand why tax isn't automatically added to price tags. That got me so irritated in the US. So companies can charge the same amount for everything across the United States. Taxes vary by state, and even city or county. Why people censor swears that are totally obvious. Also how many shows don't bleep out the full word. Like a lot of time you'll hear FK or SHT and it's not hard to figure out what they're actually saying. Either censor the whole thing or don't censor at all. My favorite is when they censor GD damn. That's not the swearing part. Ask your doctor about this drug ads. Honestly. That one is batshit crazy for us Americans too. Followed by an ad for some kind of fast food. 21 drinking age like WHAAAT you can vote. Go join the army. Get married. Have children and drive but you're too immature to drink. In my state it's 21 to buy cigarettes now too. The drinking age used to be 21 but when the voting age was changed from 21 to 18 in the 1971 thanks. Vietnam War. A number of states lowered the drinking age to 18 as well. But that led to an increase in motor vehicle fatalities. So the US passed the National Minimum Drinking Age Act, which reduced highway funds to states that didn't have a minimum drinking age of 21. States needed them fat stacks. So most raised their drinking ages to 21 actually. Most states raised the alcohol purchase age to 21. Not technically the drinking age. So here we are. Limited sick days. I truly do not understand those. I mean, if you're sick sick. I have tried. But I cannot limit the time I'm sick. I don't think a lot of people can. So why TF limit sick days? Here in the Netherlands we went, in my opinion, a bit overboard. You can be sick for 1 year. Then your employer has to pay only 70% of your salary. After 2 years they can fire you. That's a bit long. But I read somewhere about people who have 2 sick days a year. Which is the other end of ridiculous. This doesn't bother me as much as unpaid lunches. I have to work an extra half hour every day. Okay, it's not actual work. But it's still another 30 minutes I have to stay away from home and it's mandatory. In my state we have a mandatory 30 minutes per day depending on hours worked and it's up to the company to pay you or not. So of course most companies don't. So, you are forcing me to stay 30 minutes longer every day and I don't get paid for it and I can't skip it. Paying for an ambulance. Seriously. Like WTF. When my friend living in the USA got sick I told her that it would be cheaper just to take a limo to the hospital. I think from memory she had to pay about $5,000 US. Just take the limo. At least you can ride up in style. Because an ambulance isn't your own personal taxi to the hospital. Or so I've been angrily told. The toilet stalls are so fricked up it's unbelievable. Huge gaps in the side you can see people through. Huge gaps at the top and bottom. And they don't have occupied signs that show when the door is locked. I was listening to an American podcast recently where they suggested having a light above the stall to show when it's in use. They don't have a clue lol. Can confirm every public restroom is like this, we just figure it out by seeing feet. Having to remember that cars can turn on a red light. I know this is a thing. I've known this for 10 years. I still forget and nearly die every time I need to cross a road when I'm in the US. ETA, I have learned many things in this comment thread. And am formally changing my answer to traffic laws varying between states. The red light turn thing still terrifies me though. If the light is green for you, that car is supposed to yield. Well, to be fair, they can't turn into pedestrians. Also, it's way more efficient than not turning on red. The idolization of politicians. They are public servants. Similar to a courthouse clerk or a city hall coordinator. They are not rock stars. You don't need to scream their name. Buy their merch. Fully commit your life to them and believe everything they say. Just treat them like public servants. Sure, they get power and position. But hold them accountable when they abuse it. Don't let corporations and politicians take over. The political system is created by the people. For the people. It just boggles the mind. I'm American and I'm also baffled and appalled by this lol. American here. When I was studying in the UK I had to send some financial documents back to the US. The only way these documents were considered valid was if the original was mailed in. Or if I faxed a copy. When I asked the printing office if they could fax it for me, they looked at me like I was an alien and said the school hadn't owned a fax machines for like a decade. Then they asked me if I still use a VCR. Americans still use fax machines. Probably not really European but Finnish. Memes about forgetting to connect your phone to Wi-Fi. Here we have unlimited internet and it's working almost everywhere. Interesting. Tell me, what are your immigration laws like? I want in. Having to do your tax return, I mean. The IRS know how much you earn. So why can't they just take it out? Damn. I swear they want you to frick up so they can put you in jail, fine you. We do it in Europe too. At least in Germany and Croatia. That is if by tax bill you mean tax return. How much do I tip? 10%? 15%? Do I tip everywhere? Why isn't the tax included? Why does the tip vary? Why are the waiters so underpaid? Living paycheck to paycheck despite making like $4 a month. When I lived in Seattle I had a $2,300 mortgage. But daycare for 2 kids. Just to take care of them while we were at work. Ran $4,400 a month. We didn't live paycheck to paycheck, but I guess I can see how it's possible. 30 degrees Fahrenheit. An easy way to think about Fahrenheit is in percentage of hot. 30% hot is not hot at all. 50 is somewhere in the middle, not hot. But not really cold either. 70 is getting kinda hot. 90 is pretty fucking hot. 1C. While watching Chelsea vs Manchester United yesterday on NBCSN. During half-time there was a good RX commercial where the guy is asking a woman if she would like to fill her prescription. He pulled up the phone and showed her that the same pill can cost from $10 to $90 depending on the area. And that GoodRx can help her fill the prescription with the cheapest prices. Now someone please explain to me how in the ever-loving frick is it possible for a drug to cost 10x more depending on your location? Don't they have constant prices like in the rest of the civilized world? No. Prescription costs depend on what your insurance considers a fair price for it. How much they are willing to cover of that cost only after you've met your deductible. How many doses they think you actually need and therefore the pharmacy must oblige when filling it. And likely your home state. I cannot recount how many instances I've heard of families going bankrupt because their child is insulin dependent and they simply cannot afford it and their house at the same time. It's fricked up. Not European but a German girl asked me if I lost my job how long they would keep paying me until I got a new job and I just started laughing. What about unemployment? I'm too European to understand how swearing and curse words are such a big deal in movies and songs. But violence and guns are taken with a grain of salt. As an American one don't get it. As far as I'm concerned little Jimmy on the mic has fricked my mom 5 times in the past 2 hours but his mom won't let him listen to rap music. Australian here. The TV ads for prescription medication always gets me. Like really specific medication too. Not just a new over-the-counter painkiller. I think it's good to research medication if you have a condition to be informed about your options. But it's so bizarre to see ads for it in between Property Brothers episodes and ads for Taco Bell. And every one of these ads has another ad like a year later for a class action lawsuit for anyone said medication now dealing with some horrible syndrome it causes. Nipples. Or in general the hypersexualization of nudity. American here. My girlfriend and I were just talking about this. Someone posted an innocent baby photo on Facebook and they censored out the nipples. We were like, it wasn't weird or sexual. But now you've gone and made it weird. There was a controversial issue in a TV show Manhunter, that the naked, bloody corpse of a guy was showing his butt crack. And that warranted a higher PG rating. The solution was more blood to cover the crack. And then it's all good. Student debt. I pay €20 per semester tuition in Austria. Wow. I'm in a community college, the cheap option, and I pay almost $2. $000 a semester. Plus a couple hundred in mandatory books and supplies. Damn nice. I'm from Germany and ours goes from €50 to €400 per semester. Do you get stuff like public transportation as well for that price? The confusing imperial measurement system and US customary units. I have an informative infographic on why the US still uses imperial. They say inches and feet are easier to imagine. Fair enough. But what about miles? Why are they this specific number of feet instead of 1,000? American here. I lost a filling a few months ago. The dentist says he won't do any work until I get a deep clean. But my insurance will not pay for a deep clean, which costs about $1,800 USD. I can't afford that, so I have to go with this huge hole in my teeth until my jaw gets infected. Once that happens, it becomes a life-threatening illness that my insurance will cover. Is this anything to which you Europeans can relate? See another dentist man. I've paid cash for fillings before and it cost with a cleaning like $300. Not European but driving manual cars. Where I'm from, most people learn stick at 16 to 18. It took me a long time to figure out what driving stick meant. In media from the US it sounds like it's something out of the ordinary that people are proud of knowing how to do. But driving manual is the default here. So I never clicked that it meant the same thing. Traditionally only the handicapped got automatic driver licenses in most of Europe. I mean, automatic gearboxes do exist, but if you can drive manual you can drive auto. But you can't drive manual with an auto driving license. For obvious reasons. Yes, a separate license for auto. Which doesn't allow you to drive manual. Manual license and you can drive manual and auto. Expensive required textbooks that you have to buy to take a university class. That's not the worst part. There's classes where you have to pay for an online website. Only open for the semester. Just to do your homework online. Usually starts at $90. I've never understood the tipping culture in the US. As an Aussie, tipping just isn't really a thing. Except like paying $10 for a drink that costs $9.20 and telling the bartender to keep the change. And that's basically it. Just pay your workers decent livable wages. The lack of maternity rights and maternity leave. Right. Coupled with a lack of decent childcare options for even two-income families. And somewhat contradictory that the government trend right now is to abolish abortion rights. While also reducing access to support systems such as food stamps. Kids then must be born. But once they are, who cares if they have enough to eat? Or safe, reliable care?
Come here.